Okay. So last class we stopped at the lithium air batteries. So previously we have seen zinc air battery or in general metal air batteries. So any highlight you would like to bring in from previous class? Did anyone work out the energy density of theoretical energy density of lithium air battery? I asked you to evaluate theoretically, including mass of oxygen, excluding mass of oxygen. No? Okay. So today we are going to see lithium primary batteries. It's not lithium ion batteries, lithium primary batteries. There is a small distinction between lithium ion battery and lithium battery. Lithium battery refers to primary battery. Lithium ion battery refers to secondary batteries. So you can ask why. Since in this case of primary batteries, lithium primary batteries, there is no possibility for lithium recharging of the batteries. Whereas in the case of secondary batteries, lithium ion is getting shuttled between anode and cathode during the charging and discharging. So that's the reason. So let us ask why lithium can be an attractive electrode for battery applications. What makes lithium to be an attractive candidate for battery electrode? And as you see, there are several candidates, several characteristics because of which these this lithium metal can be an attractive electrode for battery applications. So we know that whenever we want to make a battery, we need to have several attractive characteristics, and one of them is it should have low mass. The lightest metal on the earth is none other than the lithium. How much it is atomic mass? Just 6.9 gram per mole. Just 6.9, close to 7. 7 moles, 7 grams per mole, or atomic unit, AMU. Lightest metal on the earth. And happen to be delivering highest negative potential. High negative potential. No other element has higher than minus 3.050 voltage, electrode potential. The standard reduction potential negatively very high. When you combine this electrode with any other system, and even if it is zero, you are going to get minimum 3 voltage. Minimum 3 voltage for the resultant cell. And as a consequence, it can provide high theoretical capacity. How much? 3860 milliampere hour per gram. Per gram of lithium would be able to generate 3860 milliampere hour charge. And this theoretical capacity can also be termed as electrochemical equivalence. Happens to be very high. No other redox system could provide such a very high value. People are trying combination of lithium or uh, uh, intercalated with lithium, etc., but could not beat 3860 milliampere hour per gram. If you quantify in terms of kh, it will be still attractive. It will be still attractive. Since it is a metal, you can have a very good conductivity. You don't need to add any other additive to add conductivity, to bring in conductivity. So these attractive features makes lithium metal as an attractive candidate for battery applications. and not just primary electrode or primary battery. It can be rechargeable. It can be a rechargeable electrode. Lithium can be oxidized, can be reduced. Let's move on. So when I say it is having high voltage or high reduction potential, standard reduction potential, the resultant cell voltage can be as high as 4 voltage. So it means the cathode could have even 1 voltage, then 1 plus 1 minus of 3 voltage going to give at least 4 voltage. And most of the secondary batteries by that time, they have maximum 1.5 voltage. That may be a Garson's alkaline battery, metal hydride battery, Uray's second metal hydride battery. All they could have, or they could deliver only 1.5 voltage per cell. But lithium could deliver double that voltage. So it means the energy density, the potential itself doubled. The energy density can be still higher, at least double energy density also. And you can see here, the lithium primary batteries could give energy density or specific energy as high as 200 watt per kg, gravimetric energy density in terms of volumetric energy density as high as 400 watt per liter. And this is at least 2 to 4 times higher than that of the zinc, even with the zinc lead acid battery. With the lead acid battery, you will be able to get 4 times higher this specific energy. So it means lead acid battery could deliver less than 50 watt per kg specific energy, 4 times higher. So that's why it has become so attractive. And it is possible to operate this lithium battery in a temperature range of at least 50-degree difference. So 40 to 80, nearly 50, 40-degree difference, it can be operated. And the power density that you can get from lithium batteries, of course, lithium-ion battery is very much. Even in lithium battery, it can be much better than any other batteries of that kind. Relatively flat discharge profile, maybe when you compare with the lead acid battery, flat discharge profile, constant delivery of the voltage. And you believe me, so these lithium batteries, they are kind of they can be used as a reserve battery. 10 years to 20 years it can stay on the shelf. Very much used in missiles and military applications under dry conditions. They don't undergo degradation. 20 years, 10 years it can stay. Even after making the 10 years, you just pour the electrolyte, it will start functioning. The real reserve battery can be made using this system. These attractive features of lithium made lithium metal as a viable or a potential or an attractive candidate as a battery electrode. So generally lithium cells or lithium batteries, or specifically lithium primary batteries, they have these specific anodes, cathodes and electrolyte. Anode is none other than the lithium. That's why the name itself is coming. Lithium batteries. Anode is lithium. And cathode, we have variety of cathodes. Sulfur dioxide, manganese dioxide, iron disulfide, carbon monofluoride, etc. Excuse me. So as an electrolyte, as we have seen already, we can have options. Mostly organic solvents. Mostly organic solvents. We have a syndrome with lithium metal. It's highly reactive. It's highly reactive. We'll be seeing it can liberate hydrogen from decomposition of water. Highly reactive. If you just keep open on the ambient condition lithium metal, it becomes immediately lithium oxide. A black coating of lithium oxide will be formed. So to avoid that, we need to have lithium batteries, other lithium ion batteries also to work in other than water as a solvent in which lithium salt should be dissolved. Non-aqueous solvents because of high reactivity lithium. It's very specifically, so lithium thionyl chloride, or dimethoxyethane as a solvent. So based on the type of the cathode and electrolyte, lithium batteries are classified into three types. Lithium batteries are classified into three types, and they are solid cathode type, soluble lithium electrolyte type, and solid state. Three types of lithium batteries. Soluble cathode, the examples are sulfur dioxide as a cathode, thionyl chloride as a cathode, and solid cathodes, we have variety of solid cathodes. Manganese dioxide, iron disulfide, etc. And solid state, solid electrolyte. This is the attractive features. 20 years it can stay. And this one figure shows the performance of these three types of primary batteries, lithium primary batteries. We can have a conventional liquid or gaseous state cathode based lithium primary batteries. And how much is the capacity? As high as 10,000 mAh at a current of at least 1 milliampere to 1 ampere or even 10 ampere. Then solid cathode, so a little less capacity, and solid electrolyte, still little capacity. And power density is limited for solid. Wherever you have a solid, all solid state batteries, it is attractive. You will get energy density very high. You can make a thin film, etc. But mobility of the ions will be very, very difficult in the solid state, will result in poor or less power densities. So, but attractive in terms of making a flexible batteries, thin film batteries, micro batteries, etc. In case of solid state, all solid state battery, very attractive these days with even lithium secondary batteries. Like a paper they can make flexible, bendable, wearable, etc. But it has its own demerit. Okay, so we have a soluble cathode type lithium primary battery, solid cathode lithium batteries, and solid state or solid electrolyte based lithium primary batteries. And what are their characteristics? These are the characteristics. So the solid type cathode, soluble type cathodes are sulfur dioxide, thionyl chloride, dithionyl chloride, etc. And for solid cathode, we have variety, including MnO2 and sulfide, copper oxide, vanadium oxide, etc. How much potential it can deliver depending on the potential of these, it varies from cell voltage 3.32 or maybe 1.5 to 3.2 voltage. As high as 3 voltage, 3.3, higher than the lithium air battery. Lithium air battery, stable air battery, you can get 2.91 voltage or at least 3 voltage, slightly higher if you use vanadium oxide. Then solid electrolyte based lithium primary batteries. So the best electrolytes are these things: PbI2, PbS, Pb. but the potentials are little less. Three types. So if you carefully look at the lithium anode, the first component in lithium primary batteries, why it is attractive we have already seen. And here you will see in terms of number, lithium having lightest metal 6.9 gram per mole or AMU, and highest standard action potential negative. So when it combined with a positive electrode or cathode, even if it is zero, you will get 3 voltage. And density is not so much, just 0.534 gram per centimeter square. Unlike lead, highly dense. So it means you have to use more mass, or you cannot use more mass to carry. Then you'll have to carry only the battery. Unlike lead, cadmium, or iron, very light metal. Melting point. So this is important when you want to make it as a thermal batteries, a new terminology, a new type of battery, thermal batteries. Okay, so we have already seen that it can exchange one electron or maximum 1 mole of lithium, and these numbers you must be very familiar. Theoretical specific capacity or electrochemical equivalence. This number 3860 we have seen. So how? 1 into 26.8 divided by mass of lithium. 1 into 26.8 divided by 6.94, you will get 3860 milliampere hour per gram or 3.86 ampere hour per gram. Per gram of lithium would be able to deliver this much charge. 3.8, close to 4 ampere hour, close to 4 ampere hour. Very high. Highest theoretical capacity delivering electrode. And the inverse of this also an attractive terminology. You take the inverse of this. So this shows that to achieve or to get 1 ampere hour per gram charge or capacity, how much mass of the material is required? It's just 0.259 grams. Whereas if you compare lead, you have to get how many times? 10 times, more than 10 times of that mass. So that is why lithium becomes so attractive. Lithium becomes so attractive. So can anyone quickly get this number? How this number can be arrived? 2.08 ampere per centimeter cube or per liter. Quickly. How to get this number? Electrochemical equivalence. Volumetric electrochemical equivalence of lithium metal is, or lithium anode is 2.08. How will you get this?
By multiplying its density.
Yes, yes. Since the density is low, so you multiply the gravimetric capacity or energy density with that of the melting this density. So this also relatively high compared to many. Okay, so volumetric electrochemical equivalence also attractive. So those who have not seen, I don't know whether you have seen this metal or not. So the pure condition lithium metal is like a bright having a silvery color, like a silver color, maybe something like this. Okay, but when it is exposed to air, because of its reactiveness, the surface becomes highly black or gray. So a thin layer of lithium oxide is immediately forming. Even if you don't have oxygen, even under nitrogen atmosphere, lithium nitride will be formed. We call it as a lithium supernitride. Even nitrogen can react with lithium, so reactive. That's why it has to be kept under always inert atmosphere, preferably argon. So it's so reactive, it can react with water and liberate hydrogen. This has become very serious in the earlier days of lithium battery development and even lithium ion battery development. So 2 lithium plus 2 H2O giving rise to 2 lithium hydroxide and hydrogen, or lithium plus H2O giving rise to lithium hydroxide plus of hydrogen. And if too much hydrogen is liberated from the battery, when it combines with oxygen, it can lead to very big danger, very big danger. So because of this, we cannot use water in direct contact with the lithium. We need to go for a non-aqueous or other than water as a solvent. Other than water as a solvent, you cannot even have a moisture. So those are the characteristics of lithium as an anode: lightweight, attractive; high capacity, attractive; good power density you can get, but you cannot use with the aqueous. I told you in the last class that always the battery community wanted to use water-based system because of simplicity of handling. But in the case of lithium, or wherever lithium is there, whether primary batteries, secondary batteries, we cannot do so. We have to go for other than water. We may have other issues. You will get good high capacity or high energy density battery. Power density may be less. And handling of organic liquid, you need to go for a special type of electrolytes that will add other complications. Okay, so coming to the cathode, so to get high voltage, high energy density, the cathode should provide high voltage. It should be compatible. Okay, and it should be a conductive, since it's going to be an electrode. It should be a conductive, and the discharge products should not dissolve in the electrolyte. Should not dissolve in the electrolyte. And of course, we can add other parameters. Non-toxicity should not be toxic. It should not be flammable. Okay, non-flammability, etc. These are the requirement of a cathode. So we have variety of cathodes ranging from sulfur dioxide to vanadium oxide, soluble cathode to non-soluble solid cathodes. The earlier version of lithium primary battery extensively used solid cathodes and SO2 thiocyanol chlorides. And their characteristic, this one table, similar, I have shown you several tables, very important tables. You can get a lot of information. Most of the information you can get from this table, similar to the table I showed you in the beginning of second unit. So what are the components? Cathodes, their density, theoretical capacity, volumetric, gravimetric, cell reaction, cell voltage, and their theoretical specific energy. Okay, so once you know this capacity, it is possible to obtain energy density. You know that. Okay, and as a solid cathode, yeah, I think it should have been a solid cathode, not soluble. Okay, so it should have been solid cathodes. All these are all solids, and their characteristic. Gaseous state as a cathode, thionyl chloride, sulfur dioxide as a cathode. And you can see here, so once you make, so 40 hours to 30 hours, it can give a very stable or flat discharge profile. 30 hours. Sulfur dioxide. Sulfur thionyl chloride, 40 hours, stable, like a theoretical discharge profile you can have. Stable voltage. I have more information on these two types of batteries. Those two are the very highly developed lithium primary batteries. So we have two types of cathode, gaseous state cathodes and solid cathodes, or soluble cathodes and solid cathodes. And in terms of electrolyte, these are the requirement generally. It should not be liberating protons. So whenever we have a proton liberation, maybe the counter ion is OH minus, it means water as an electrolyte or solvent, that is danger to the lithium system. Aprotic or non-organ, non-aqueous. And it should not react with the lithium. It should not corrode. It should only facilitate the movement of the ions. That is the purpose of the electrolyte. But it should not react with the lithium. But we will see in the secondary lithium batteries that there is a syndrome of formation of solid electrolyte interface. That is essentially reaction of a solvent with the lithium metal. Dendrite formation, spike-like character, a solid matter is growing on the cathode and the anode, or wherever we have a metal, whether it is a zinc or a lithium metal that can pierce into the membrane and touch the cathode. Short circuiting can take place. Material loss, anode loss will be there. Anode mass loss will be there. Eventually the capacity will fade. So it should not react with the lithium metal. And it should provide a good conductivity to transfer of lithium ion from anode to cathode. This is primary batteries. In the case of secondary batteries, the back also required. Transfer of lithium ion cathode to anode also is required. And it should be able to provide wide operating temperature. And other parameters, stability, non-toxicity, non-flammability, you can add similar to the case of cathode. So combining these requirements, not many electrolyte will serve. So we have solid thionyl chloride, SOCl2, and thionyl dichloride, SO2Cl2, etc. So SO2 versus lithium as a primary lithium batteries. Okay, and the electrolyte is lithium bromide. And what are its characteristics? 3 voltage it could deliver. And its specific energy, gravimetric and volumetric, this much. And dithionyl chloride, SYCl2 and SO2Cl2. I have more information on this later. And you can see that the discharge profiles much better than the primary dry cells. So generally, there is a risk with making lithium batteries. Sometimes it catches fire because of lithium is so reactive. So we need to take care of handling of these type of batteries, lithium primary batteries. So whenever we have, when and all we will have a danger with the batteries. These are the things. Generally, so the battery can become dangerous because of these things. Depending on the type of the electrochemical system, we will have a battery having danger or no danger. Zinc may not be having a big danger, but lithium can have a danger because cell chemistries are both are different. So based on the type of the battery or the size of the battery, we will have a danger to the batteries. Lower size or smaller in size, lesser the danger, or vice versa. Larger the battery type, larger the size of the battery, the more danger is associated with it, because it will use more amount of lithium. Larger size of battery will use more amount of lithium. When you use more amount of lithium, higher the danger, because so if it is in contact with the aqueous, it can liberate more hydrogen, catching up well. So type of the battery, size of the battery, it means so size of the battery includes the capacity of the battery. Lower the size, lower the capacity. Higher the size, higher the capacity. Higher the danger associated. And you need to balance the cell. You need to balance the battery. So just because it can provide high capacity, you cannot be using more of anode. You need to balance the capacity of cathode also. Okay, including electrolyte, etc. A balanced cell component will reduce the risk of batteries. Okay, so wherever the discharged product need to be removed. Okay, so for example, if oxygen or hydrogens are revolved, there should be a vent to provide access of these gaseous molecule to go out of the batteries. Or because of the usage of the battery at elevated temperature, so the gaseous molecule can be liberated, and there should be a pathway for removing these safety vents. This very much in the case of lead acid battery. Of course, with the use of catalyst, they can be made to recombine. So we have a maintenance-free batteries. Maintenance requiring battery to maintenance-free batteries in the case of lead acid batteries. Containers also can take care of the battery's safety. If you use a poor container prone to moisture or explosion, then it's of no use. The cell container or battery container should withstand the temperature and the explosion and any physical abuse on the battery. Okay, so these are some of the parameters. So you can play with so that the battery safety can be taken up. So now we will look up a very little more detail on two types of batteries. So lithium sulfur dioxide batteries, a primary battery, and lithium thionyl chloride batteries. And then we will end this. Okay, so this is the cell chemistry associated with the lithium sulfur dioxide batteries. Lithium as a metal, sulfur dioxide as a cathode. So what is the discharge reaction? 2 lithium plus 2 SO2 giving rise to lithium dithionite as a discharged product. And it is difficult to get back to lithium metal and sulfur dioxide, even with the effective catalyst. There is a limitation in terms of penetrates. It's difficult to discharge, take back lithium dithionite into lithium metal and lithium, sulfur oxide. That's why it has become, it is primary batteries. And this requires non-aqueous because lithium is used. So how much is the specific energy or energy density you can get? As high as 260 watt-hour per kg or 415 watt-hour per liter you can get. Compared to that time, it was the lithium zinc system developed. So compared to zinc system, at least 2 to 3 times higher. And very much used this battery in military applications. It can stay in 20 years on shelf without undergoing degradation. So very much used in military applications. And you can see that the battery itself named military lithium dioxide, sulfur dioxide battery model. And it can stay on the shelf for 20 years, 10 years without undergoing degradations. And this lithium sulfur dioxide, not only possible to make this kind of a large size battery, it is also possible to make a cylindrical. And it can be made as a gel, sulfur dioxide. So with a suitable gel electrolyte, so a semi-solid can be made like a dry cells, large size D cell is possible to make. Large size D cell possible to make. Okay, so similar to the primary dry cells. So you can see that. So the cathode material is held here, and the lithium metal is here, similar to the primary batteries. What is the discharge characteristic? So you can see that you can get the service life of 10,000 hours, 10,000 hours at a slow discharge. And a quick discharge, of course, 1 hour. High power is discharged. Large current is discharged here. Low current is discharged here. So the surface service life can be made from 1 hour to 10,000 hours. So lithium sulfur dioxide batteries. Primary lithium batteries, not rechargeable. The discharge product is lithium dithionite. So 2 lithium plus 2 SO2 giving rise to lithium dithionite as a discharge product. So you can make different sizes. So you can see that. So you can, depending on the sizes, 7.2, 7.5 Ah battery to 8.2 Ah battery, you can have. So in different fields, it is being used. Okay. So depending on the type of the battery, depending on the size and the capacity of the batteries, they are named like this. Mostly for very sensitive applications. Mostly for military applications. So wherever you require military equipment to be operated with the batteries, so these lithium primary batteries could serve. It can serve. We know that military equipments are not always used, but they should be ready always. Very much suitable as reserve batteries. Very much suitable for reserve batteries. So good power density, stay for long time, non-usable conditions, and it can be made possible to use quickly. Those are the characteristic of a reserve battery. I have some content on the reserve batteries later. Okay, so then we move on to lithium manganese dioxide battery, or that is soluble cathode, and this is solid cathode. So this has marked the beginning of lithium secondary batteries. So prior to that, so lithium manganese dioxide primary batteries, solid as a cathode. So compared to gaseous states, handling of solid is pretty good. You can make coin cell to cylindrical to prismatic type uh, lithium primary batteries. So even large size is made possible to use or fabricate with the lithium manganese dioxide as a cathode. What is the cell voltage you are going to get? 3 voltage. Okay, so energy density 230 watt-hour per kg, specific energy, and volumetric energy density little higher than the previous case. Mostly used for backup applications, security, and digital cameras, primarily military equipment, military electronics, very much. This is the simple cell chemistry. Lithium becomes lithium ion, and it gets intercalated. So these days we will name this as a lithium secondary batteries, in fact, because of the intercalation. 20 years, 40 years before, that chemistry was not known. So some amount of lithium being intercalated, we would definitely call this as a lithium secondary batteries these days. Okay, so the overall reaction is that involving change of oxidation state of manganese ion. Originally manganese in +4 state, it changes to +3 state. This is what happens in the lithium secondary batteries. These days we understand. Okay. So the same manganese dioxide with a different mechanism, we use this manganese dioxide as an anode. I think it will be complicating. I will not do that. Restrict to lithium versus lithium manganese dioxide as a cathode. So the cell voltage can vary from 3.3 to 3.5 voltage. Okay, so the overall cell reaction is lithium bit intercalating into matrix of manganese dioxide, and very much possible to use the form of a small size to large size. A typical, this is available, commercially available these days. Available, very much available, this type of lithium batteries, delivering 3-point voltage, which uses lithium metal as an anode, manganese dioxide as a cathode. Button cells to cylindrical cells to large size is available. Very simple construction, similar to how we have seen in the case of dry cells. Cylindrical also is possible. You get higher capacity moving from coin cells to button cells to cylindrical cell. You are going to get high capacity because you will use high active mass. That's the reason. And you can increase the capacity by rolling, not just having a slurry of manganese dioxide. You can make it as a thin film, roll it and insert. This is being done in the case of all secondary batteries, including lithium ion batteries. You take a file of lithium, then separator, electrolyte, and a layer of manganese dioxide. You roll it, insert in the cylinder. So you are going to get higher mass utilization and higher capacity or energy density. You can get it very much. And prismatic or foil type also possible to make, similar to that of the lead acid batteries. These were all attractive 20 years, 30 years before. Now we know it is very convenient. All lithium ion batteries can be made in all these type of batteries 3 times. Now we know after 40 years, but 40 years before, very attractive. Lead acid battery was not useful to make such batteries this type because of poor energy density. So the problem is with the lead acid battery, it's not possible to make this kind of coin cells. Even if we use, it will work for maybe a minute or so. Who would be afford to make such a battery technology with the expense of, with so much effort to make a primary lead acid battery? I mean, lead acid battery with coin cell. If it works for 1 minute, though it is a rechargeable batteries, but who would be interested to make a battery, secondary battery, to work for 1 minute with the poor power density, poor energy density? So it's not possible. But with the lithium ion battery, it was possible. Coin cell, cylindrical cell, or D size to prismatic style. So the modern version of this foil cell is your mobile battery, or pouch cell, or prismatic cell. Modern version. And this one table shows all the characteristic or the comparative characteristic of all the lithium batteries. So I have taken only lithium manganese oxide, a solid cathode, and lithium versus sulfur oxide. I think I have some content on, no. Okay, so lithium diethynyl chloride, SOCl2. Excuse me. So specific energy, at least you will get 200 watt per kg. In the case of solid cathode, it can be as a S300, 430 watt per kg. In terms of volumetric, so you can see that, so carbon fluoride as a cathode, if we have, so you can get 500 to 600 volumetric energy density. And carbon fluoride if you use, okay, so you can still get higher. Wide temperature range, that's why that has made attractive. Minus 20 degree to 60 degree, how much? 80 degree difference you can use the battery. Or in the case of thionyl chloride, it's still attractive. That's why it has become reserve batteries. Minus 55 to 150 degree, 200 degree difference. Self life, in terms of years. We don't talk about in terms of hours with secondary batteries. Here we talk about in terms of years. 10 years to 15 years it can stay on the shelf. Very much suitable for sensitive applications, and it is being used. Okay. High rate is possible, high power density is possible. Okay, so environmental impact has little impact. Okay, and affordability, please you can see. So these lithium primary batteries are very much used in personal display aids, maybe PDAs, earlier version of your mobile phone or smartphone, and very much used in cameras earlier, and most suitable for military equipment. Military equipments are not requiring 24 by 7. It's not operated 24 by 7, but it should be made available to be 24 by 7. Very much suitable. Very much suitable. Okay, I think I will stop now. So reserve battery will catch up next class. Is enough today. So I know I'm finishing 10 minutes before. So we'll stop now anyway. So if anybody would like to make some comments, clarification, make some questions, you can do so.